And we're live. Hi everyone, welcome to the Google Summer of Code weekly meeting. Today we have action items and sync up on the next steps inside the GSoC program.
Hi.
Yeah, I had to mute you because there was some background noise. Yep. So we have several people on the call, GSoC mentors, org admins, and potential students. Today we will have a Q&A, and again, the main agenda would be to just agree how we continue with the next phase. Okay, so do you see my screen?
Okay.
Yes. So long story short, yesterday there were announcements by Google and all GSoC organizations have been announced, and Jenkins is one of the organizations participating in the Google Summer of Code this year. Again, this year is the biggest GSoC ever. There are something like 206 organizations participating this year, if I recall correctly. And yeah, you may see that there is quite a number of organizations, including various mostly open source projects, but also organizations, some other umbrella organizations. So yeah, the GSoC is going to be pretty big this year, and yeah, it's great that we participate. So congrats again to all mentors, students, org admins, and whomever participated in the prep work. I believe that we are ready to GSoC. So yeah, if we take a look at Google Summer of Code, you may see that all documentation is in place. We have a pretty long list of project ideas which are ready for processing. So we are ready to the next phase. And the next phase for us is to actually just work together in order to get applications in place. So yeah, you may see that there is GSoC timeline. Application period starts in March, so we have about 1 month before students can apply, and we should use these months in order to promote our projects, to communicate with students, to review whatever questions, maybe help them with their design work, and whatever communications are needed. So it's the most important phase. And after that, there will be still some time when students apply. So March 25th is when the gates open, but yeah, usually students have their proposal drafts ready before this date because they use the opportunity to get more reviews. So earlier we start, the more time we have. And April 9th is when the period actually ends. It's a deadline for applications. So all students will submit applications by this time. And then the organization will be processing these applications. The application process, we will discuss later in the mentor meetings. But yeah, what will happen next on May 6th, there will be announcement for accepted projects. So yeah, there will be projects and mentor teams announced, and then community bonding and coding will start. So yeah, this is the plan. And yeah, now we are here. So yeah, it may seem that there is a lot of time. So yeah, you may say that it's 1 month before the application starts, but effectively it's only 1 month because there is a lot of work to do there. Even if you have all project ideas published, there may be more project ideas incoming, there may be more students, questions. And I hope this year we will have a lot of traffic coming to the organization because we have a lot more project ideas than we had in the previous year. So this is the current plan. Regarding the communications and regarding the organization is something I propose to discuss today. So we can discuss how we organize office hours for the next month, how we organize meetings, chat discussions, whether we need any additional activities. And yeah, it's a topic for discussion today. So if you have any questions, we can start from there. or I can briefly summarize what is our plan after a brief discussion with Martin and Jeff yesterday. Am I still online?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I'm just letting people who have questions ask them.
Okay. So yeah, it seems there is no questions. So how the communications will happen? This week we will have a blog post on Jenkins.io in order to announce our participation in the program, and yeah, we will also invite more mentors and more students to join the discussions. So we might have more applications coming in. We will have the same in the mailing lists. And also at SIG meetings and governance meetings. So yeah, if you guys go to any special interest group meetings in Jenkins, feel free to reference GSoC there and say everyone that we accepted. So additional visibility wouldn't hurt. And yeah, actually, this is communications which are going to happen on project level. But what we also need is communication happening on project level. So we advise all mentors and mentor teams to reach out to their potential audience. So if you have a personal blog or if you have some communications with potentially interested people in chats or whatever, please feel free to also talk about Google Summer of Code and about your projects specifically. Because yeah, it's not enough to just get projects published today. It's also required to promote these projects if you want to get more communications. And yeah, earlier you start, more feedback you get, and more interested students you get. Okay. Where does it come? Okay. So yeah, effectively this is what I wanted to communicate about this topic. Yeah, I think we can just go straight to questions. So yeah, you have a number of students and mentors on the call. Although we have some documentation on the website. If you have any questions, maybe we should start from discussing them before going to other agenda items. Okay. Any questions? So do we have any first year GSoC participants on the call? I guess maybe Miss Ark, but yeah, a lot of people have participated in GSoC a few times before, if I recall correctly.
I did GSoC last time as a student. Yeah, so this time planning to be hopefully be mentored, and I've actually passed out of college, so as it is, I'm not even eligible to be a student anymore actually. So last year I did GSoC under INCF. It's an organization in the domain of digital biology. Thanks.
Thank you. Rak, your microphone doesn't seem to be working. We've heard some background noise, but yeah, I didn't hear you talking. Happens. So yes, speaking of noise in the channels, etc., video meetings are just a part of communications we have. The advice is to keep the most of communications in Gitter or in mailing lists, because in such case we have track of these communications which we can reference. So we will be having these meetings not as a main communication channel, but as an additional communication channel for all kinds of additional ad hoc questions and discussions. So yeah, if you have any specific questions, it's better to start from asking in Gitter. All projects have their own Gitter channels, or maybe GSoC Gitter if there is no channel assigned. And yeah, then mailing lists, and if needed, sync up meetings like these ones.
So I would, so hi everyone, I am Nisarg, and I am interested in advanced build discard plugin for GSoC 2019 as a student, and I am currently, working on this project. So I would just means request Martin sir, like if possible that to make a separate Gitter, a separate Gitter chat room, means for this project, so that means we can have all the chats, means related to this project, means at a means, one specific place only.
So you want to have a separate chat for that? Why don't we use an external workspace manager chat for this project? Or maybe
Yeah, sure. So actually, we can use that as some part of that project is also included in this as discarding the builds from the external workspace plugin. So I think yes, we can use that chat room for this project.
yeah, I'm just thinking. So we have a number of projects related to build discarders, but right now we don't have final decision how the implementation would look like, whether it would be a separate plugin or a number of other plugins. So
Yes.
for me, it's a bit preliminary to create a new Gitter chat for plugin which may not exist. But yeah, so what would be your opinion, Martin?
There's lots of discussions surrounding build discard, and they're not specific to the external workspace manager. So we created a lot of traffic in the GSoC SIG Gitter room. Is it possible to create a generic Gitter chat which is not attached to a particular plugin, just under the Jenkins organization, and then link the plugin later?
It should be possible nowadays. So if you let me know what is the room name you would like to have, I can create a chat for you.
Okay, I think just build discard would be generic enough.
Not sure, but yeah, probably. So we can actually create the chat for build discarder plugin, but yeah.
Yeah, except the plugin name has not been finalized.
Yeah, what about just GSoC advanced build discarder or something like that? So we put GSoC as a prefix, and then this chat can be renamed later. Though renaming Gitter chats is more difficult than creating new ones. So if it helps, I will just create such a channel.
Yeah, I think it does.
Yes. Yeah, thank you for that.
Okay, just a second, I'll screen share. Okay. So let's go to our Gitter. Yeah, I have admin permission, so I can, so something like GSoC build discarder.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, let's. Okay, so Yeah, I've just created the chat for you. But yeah, Martin, would you be able to update project ideas so that the link is correct there?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I think it could be a good temporary solution. And then once the projects are announced and once the architecture is created, probably the chat can be renamed. But yeah, we can keep it as is. Okay. Anything else about this project?
And yes, like just I only like I have one request that like I have in just working on some code base and some ideas and some implementation. So like if possible, there could be one special meeting for this where I can just uh, is present by this implementation part and the idea part so that uh, uh, I can get good feedback from the mentors and what can be more added or something like that. And I also have few of the doubts in the implementation part, that how can we do this, and I have this idea and then what can be done with this and all that. So if possible, Martin sir and few other mentors for this project can help me out.
Yeah, I think you should discuss it with mentors. So you just start the discussion, and if you have any ideas, if you have a project application draft, then you just send it for review. So how we were doing in previous years, we had project applications in Google Documents as well, so that it was possible to share these documents and to review them together.
Okay. Yeah, sure. So like I'll just put my doubts and the questions of the implementation and some idea part in this chat room so that it could help me in inciting my proposal.
Yep.
So Nisarg, if it helps you, what I can do is maybe I'll send you my last year's proposal, which was selected. So you might be able to get like a rough idea of how to structure the proposal, maybe, because it was a proposal for a completely different organization in a different domain, but you might get an idea of how to structure the proposal. Is that okay, Oleg and Martin?
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. You're more than welcome to share any materials related to GSoC. Yeah, we also want to study from other organizations. So if you have any experience, any advice, just do that. And yeah, probably we should run a separate session with former GSoC students. We have a number of former GSoC students participating as mentors this year. So maybe we could have a session where these former students share their own experience.
Yeah, sure, and thanks. It will be great help for me. And so actually, I was asking, for for a so actually I was asking for a discussion for my implementation and ideas, so that uh, uh, like if we can have a meeting, so at that time we can have a better and a healthy discussion rather than in a chat. So like I was just asking for a separate meeting for an hour at any time if possible.
Okay, sir. So I'm just trying to understand. So what you're trying to say is that you're working on something related to the code base. So you're not talking about a discussion about how to write a proposal, but more about discussion related to the code base that is related to the plugin. Okay.
Yes, and
so I think Nisar, I think Martin and you, maybe both of you can decide what time is mutually suitable for both of you. because any time works for me. So I'll just join the call according to what you and Martin think is a suitable time for both of you.
Yeah, so like only just I want to share the work done till now, and I want to just have a discussion on ideas and the code base and what can be changed in this and that. So like if possible, a meeting can be arranged. Yeah, so uh, Martin sir uh, can just set a time, and I think it will be fine with me too.
Yeah, I can set up some public office hours to specifically discuss the build discarder.
Yeah, thank you. So it would be a great help for me.
Okay. So yeah, let's take it offline because yeah, there are other topics to discuss. But yeah, in such cases, just ping mentors in the chat and try to organize what you need because it would be the best approach. If you cannot reach out to mentors due to whatever reason, don't hesitate to ping org admins in the chat, and we will help you to get these things organized.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, any other questions to discuss right now?
Hello, hi, my name is Vineet.
Hi.
Like if you remember, I just messaged you a week ago. So I just had a discussion with my mentor. So we are like we have both are agreed for the design of the proposal for polling Docker images plugin thing. So like, do you want me to just draft a proposal with design, or you guys will create a new project or a repository? Like we decided to start with a new plugin, and as there was one plugin for Docker notification plugin. So once the webhook URL notifies this Docker plugin, it automatically rebuilds the image from the base. So however, as I told in my last weekly meetings also, I was able to find the APIs which were giving me the last updated date of the image and that version or the latest image. So I'll be knowing, like, is it the old or what was the latest time when it was modified. So we'll directly integrate it with again with Docker notification plugin we were thinking. But from Jenkins point of view, a end user will just go with one plugin, right? So that thing I'm still confused because I'll just download one plugin, but the other plugin, how should, if I want to integrate it with internally, so he should have that plugin also, right?
Well, I'm a bit lost. So in Jenkins, if you have a plugin, you can depend on another plugin. And then if you install one plugin, all its dependencies will be installed. But yeah, depending on the implementation, dependencies may be optional or mandatory. So you can declare an optional dependency and, for example, declare an extension point, which will operate only when the required plugin is installed. So it's not mandatory to have strong dependencies in all cases. This is about the plugin dependencies. Regarding the architecture, design, and mentor discussions, yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a track of this discussion. But yeah, my proposal there would be to actually agree with mentors and start drafting a project idea. And if you need more feedback, maybe ping in some people. If I recall correctly, this project uses the default Gitter channel, right? Or does it use the
Yes,
new?
yes, yes. You guys have suggested to use the default Docker channel for this project, but I
Yeah.
was me and Justin has had a discussion. We have had a call regarding this project, and we both were on the same page regarding the project. Like what level of like the proposal even describes that we should check for the security vulnerabilities as well. So there was one project, open source project called Claire, which does the security vulnerability checking on the image whenever we run it. So I've seen quite a lot, but depending on the timeline and as I keep start working on it, I can know what are the challenges will be involved in this. So I couldn't give a commitment of security vulnerabilities scanning would I can deliver for this plugin. So that was the thing I told. He was like, yes, that might take a while to complete it. So he also agreed with that. So that's it. So do you suggest me to go only with a good design and a good proposal, or else you want me to just create a base of the plugin? So how do you want me to apply, what work should I do on that proposal especially?
It's better to discuss with mentors, really. So both approaches may work. Currently, yeah, we have more than 1 month, and this time should be used by students to prepare good proposals. So this is the main objective. There is no objective to complete the GSoC project during this time frame because it would be a bit odd. If you need to do some prototyping and experiments in order to make decisions, how would you approach particular task? It's something what is welcome. The same if you want to do some contributions to explore the idea, it's also something which would be welcome. But yeah, the main outcome for the next month is a project proposal. And this is what would be the focus. So my suggestion, just do whatever you need to create a project proposal. And yeah, if you have some time to hack something in parallel, you're more than welcome.
Okay,
yeah,
that makes more sense. Okay, thanks.
yeah,
Thank
right.
you.
So yeah, there is no strict requirement in Jenkins organization to write any code before your project gets accepted. So yeah, generally it's a good advice to explore the area to try contributing something because it may help you to create a good quality proposal. But yeah, there is no strict requirement to do a lot of coding before the coding period starts.
Okay, if that's the case, I'll try doing some POC regarding the project so that we can analyze till what extent we can complete the plugin. I'll just do a POC.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Tom. If there is no other questions, I think we should talk a bit about the framework. So how we organize meetings in order to make them efficient and to make them comfortable for students, for mentors. Because yeah, now we have a lot of people on the call, and yeah, I'm not sure whether the meeting in such format is comfortable. And yeah, let's discuss how we would like to approach that. Okay, so yeah, I'm just sharing my screen again. So how we used to approach in the previous years, we had separate office hours for mentors and separate office hours for students, which were Q&A sessions. Yeah. So I just wrote down what we had in the previous years. And the question would be, are we fine with this approach or would we like to make changes there?
So the office hours, are they recorded as well?
I don't think it's ultimately necessary, but yeah, we can record them. Yeah, so if there is a need, we can record them.
Okay, I think when the office hours have a demonstration, for example, on such presentations we did in the past with regards to plugin development or how to do extension points and so on, those are useful because they can be reused in the future. But if they're just general Q&A about the current state and where we're at, and just general questions from students on the process, those don't really need to be recorded, I don't think.
Yeah, so a few weeks ago we agreed that we record all sessions, but the reason was that we were switching between channels, Google Hangout and Hangouts on Air. And yeah, Google Hangout has its own issues with permission management, which we hit continuously. So yeah, that's why we agreed that we want to record all meetings. But yeah, it's just a utility solution in order to get all meetings running smoothly. So yeah, if we can still record the meetings, but we cannot. We can keep recordings unlisted by default, and then we can publish recordings if something is needed.
Okay.
Would it make sense?
Yeah.
But keep them by default. So yeah, regarding meetings, last year we had meetings in 2 time zones. I think that we should keep doing that this year as well. And we are taking the current org-admin availability. I believe that I will be covering this time zone. I guess that Jeff doesn't stay awake for long because he wakes up early. So I would say that this meeting will be around 8 a.m. UTC. Something like that. And you as CEO, we could just move the meeting a bit later. So now we have a meeting at 3 p.m., but yeah, maybe we could have it at 4 p.m. UTC or so. So, yeah.
That would work for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what about others? So yeah, I will send the doodle in order to schedule a particular session starting from the next week. But yeah, I'm just pulling approximate timeframes.
Okay, so that 3, I just want to know that 4 p.m. UTC in my time zone. I think it's 1 hour after this one.
Yeah. Or we can just keep running it as is, as office hours. I'm just concerned that it's a bit too early for West Coast.
Okay, let's try to accommodate the West Coast.
Yeah. So my preference would be to have meetings a few hours later. But yeah, I'm not sure how others are available. We usually have meetings at something like 6 p.m. UTC. So just a second. This is a Jenkins calendar. Yeah, it's not much helpful in this format, but okay. So this is what we have now. So there are not that many meetings. So we could say, for example, we do a meeting on Monday or Tuesday around 8 a.m. UTC. The time is in my local time zone. It's UTC +1. And for example, there is project meeting. So maybe we could use this time slot or so before the Jenkins project meeting.
So we can use this time slot as a student office hours since it is known to students at this time?
Yeah, so we can keep this meeting as a general sync up. But yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, right. So I was actually thinking about having another slot for Q&A and keeping this slot for status sync ups.
Okay.
But here we can adjust. So yeah, if there are other preferences, we can just yeah, I think it makes sense to just start Doodle, and yeah, then taking the feedback from there, we can agree what would be the meeting slots.
Okay. So. So that's, wait, that we need to add one office hour time slot. Okay, I'm confused. So you were trying to have one for US, the Americas, and we try to have a time slot for Asia Pacific, Europe.
Yeah, right.
So have two of them. Now, we want to keep the current one for sync up and questions if there's time, and then have another office hours, and the other one needs to be more friendly to the Americas, right?
Right. Or we can say that the current slot is okay for Americas, but yeah, we already got some feedback from students so that it's not comfortable, that it's too early.
Okay. So if we want to create a new office hours that's more comfortable, moving it by one hour. Okay, so 8 a.m. UTC, 3 p.m. UTC.
So it would be
right.
3 p.m. UTC then.
3 p.m. UTC is, it's already the current office hours.
No, it happens at 2 p.m. UTC now.
2, 3, oh.
Yeah, so it would be 1 hour later.
Is 1 hour good enough? If it's only just 1 hour, maybe it should be 2.
Okay.
Okay, I'm confused, Oleg, as to how many office hours.
Okay, then I'll create a doodle. So what I want is to actually have 3 meetings per week.
Okay.
So 2 for students, Q&A, and 1 for mentors and org admins. So this is what I propose.
Okay.
So for example, we can keep the current slot as sync up for mentors and org admins, and we create separate slots for Q&A. One approach. Another approach, we say that, for example, this slot is okay for Americas, or we can just reschedule all 3 slots and that's it.
Okay. Why don't we keep the current one for the mentors and org admins and create 2 for students?
Yeah, this is one of the options.
Okay.
So yeah, I think that the action item is to just create a doodle, and then yeah, we start from there. So we can keep this slot for Project Sync Up, GSoC SIG meeting, as it was originally announced. And we create a separate office hours for Q&A. Does it work for you, Martin?
Separate office hours for, I missed the word.
Questions and answers.
Q&A, okay.
Yeah.
And what about the meeting we said we would have with just the org admins and mentors without students?
Yeah, we keep the current time slot, for example.
Okay. Okay, so the time slot we're using right now would no longer be for students.
Yes, something like that.
Okay.
Or maybe we just split it 30 minutes for public discussion and 30 minutes for private discussion.
Okay.
So yeah, let's probably take it offline. But yeah, I think we really need to do something about Q&A for Americas to make it a bit later.
Okay. Yeah, okay, let's take it offline. Let's use the mailing list or something just to announce our intent and then decide how the doodles are created and what meetings they are exactly.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Sorry if I confused you. Okay, regarding the rest, yeah, so there was a topic today about session for GSoC students, for former GSoC students to share their experience. So I think no need to discuss it today. But here maybe we could have such session closer to the application deadline, maybe in 1 month or so.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So let's say approximately March 25th or so. The 25th of March is Monday, so yeah, I can just put it here. So yeah, that we don't forget. Okay. So yeah, it's not an immediate need. And yeah, regarding the GSoC calendar, so I was presenting this calendar today already. Yeah, so it's a standard Jenkins calendar, and I will be putting GSoC events there, for example, application deadlines and other milestones. But yeah, question mostly for students. Do you want to have the same Jenkins calendar, or would you like to have a separate calendar specifically for GSoC events? So the bonus that you can just add it to your Google account, and then you will be able to browse your personal meetings and GSoC meetings on the same page. Okay. I think it doesn't matter.
I'm not sure it matters much.
Okay. So yeah, I think we just do as we do, and then if there is some feedback, then we will adjust.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many people use Google Calendars, but yeah, they're pretty useful sometimes.
Yeah, they are very useful. I thought Google was publishing its own ICS file for calendars.
Yeah, they do. But obviously it won't include the Jenkins specific meetings.
That is correct.
Yeah, so the advantage of having a separate calendar for GSoC is that we can grant all mentors and org admins access to this calendar, so that they can put their own meetings, like project sync-ups or whatever. So that's why I was thinking about a separate calendar, because Jenkins calendar, only a few people have access to that.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. Yeah. We can have a specific Jenkins GSoC calendar.
Yeah.
And the calendar that is displayed on the Jenkins IO website, that's the Jenkins calendar, but can we have our own calendar, or can we overlay on top of this one? How?
Well, it's possible to add meetings to two calendars. as one of the options. Or just duplicate the meetings, which is also possible. So
Okay.
yeah, if you want a separate view, for example, on GSoC landing page to have a calendar embedded like on the page I presented, it's totally what we can do. But yeah, if you want to add meetings to two calendars, it's less trivial. But yeah, I can see how we can do that. In the worst case, it would be just a duplication of calendar events.
Okay. Okay. Let's not overdo it.
Okay. So what I propose to do now, we create public calendar, give access to all org admins, and yeah, we start from there. And then if somebody has feedback, we just address this feedback.
Okay. Yeah, this works.
Okay, fine with me. Yeah. So, do we have any other topics to discuss? Any questions? Any concerns? Any proposals? Whatever.
I'm reading the minutes from yesterday's mentor meeting. I don't see anything that we haven't talked about already.
We just need to implement these bits.
So yeah, I mean, this year we're so ahead of, we're so prepared that we don't have many questions. All our project ideas are ready, and they're all up online, and they've been reviewed. And so when we come to this meeting now, it's more relaxed than last year,
yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah, I guess so. Though we can offer people to propose new project ideas, but yeah, right now I guess that nobody on this call wants to propose more project ideas. Yeah, unless students want to work on their own projects, which is totally possible. If somebody wants to work on a specific project, just let us know. We'll try to help with it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, then yeah, if there is no other topics, I'll just have a nice evening, and yeah, I'll schedule all doodles 2 days, I hope, so that by the end of the week we have some plan regarding the meeting dates.
Okay, so the action item for the calendar and setting up the doodle is on who?
Yeah, I can do that, or if you want, Martin, you can do that. So.
Okay, so I have time to do this probably a couple days from now, but not like Saturday.
Okay,
is that too late?
Well, it's better to start earlier. So yeah, I'll try to do it today then.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I might have time in the evening, but
yep.
My evenings are booked on Wednesdays and Thursdays.
Okay. So yeah, I think we will just try to do that. If it doesn't work, okay, let's sync up later.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So yeah, thanks everybody for your time. And yeah, I think that the main approach is to have less meetings and more conversations in the chat. So yeah, let's try to move discussions there as much as possible.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.